So I've
How
got
are
my
you
friend.
feeling, by the way?
Well, I'm very fortunate to be okay, and I'm very fortunate to have a good friend like this who wants to make sure I don't get jumped again. I think AEW and New Japan will be fighting each other in a lot of the matches at Forbidden Door, but there's a lot of times we stand on the same page too. Very grateful to AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. Very grateful to Tanahashi-san for being here this weekend with AEW. I'm very grateful to all of you, and now we can take your questions. Hey.
Hi, Tony. Amy Lilly with WrestleJoy. First, congratulations on celebrating 5 years and an incredible show. So I'd like to know what your thoughts were with Anarchy in the Arena and the planning that went into that. It was really chaotic, a lot of fun in the crowd. There were so many massive elements between explosions and flamethrowers and stringing Darby Allin up and the Young Bucks super kicking him in the face with thumbtacked Reeboks. It was an incredible end to an incredible show. So I'd like to sort of get some insights on planning that for your 5-year anniversary, and if it's okay to Tanahashi, I would like to know who you would like to see challenging Jon Moxley for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship after tonight's Eliminator match with Takeshita, especially since New Japan and AEW have been so ingrained in the history with its formation.
Well, if I may, I think it's important to note Dominion coming. Jon Moxley will be defending the IWGP World Championship versus Evil coming up at Dominion. And we have a lot of great details about that. And the winner of the Jon Moxley versus Evil match is going to be in a great position going into the Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
And very excited for Dominion. It's one of the best events in New Japan Pro Wrestling year in, year out. They're having a great year. I think AEW and New Japan both having a great year, and we'll both have great momentum going into Forbidden Door. Whoever is the champion, whether it's Evil or Jon Moxley. Anarchy in the Arena was insane. Didn't expect to get dragged into it, but it was a wild night and not the result AEW wanted. And definitely, I am very grateful to the wrestlers that stood up for AEW and to the fans being here for our 5-year anniversary. The Elite are a big part of 5 years of AEW, and it's really a shame philosophically we're so far apart that they would do the things they've done. They have a contract I can't get out of. They have really pushed me personally, pushed AEW really far, but they also were involved in one of the wildest, craziest matches I've ever seen. They were involved in it last year too, and this was different, this was wilder, and I think all 3 Anarchy in the Arena matches have really delivered for the fans. It was different doing it here at the MGM Grand. MGM Grand, I will say, I'll let everybody inside, I think the MGM Grand's a little bit chiller than T-Mobile. And very chill people here at the MGM Grand, and this was a great place to do the Anarchy in the Arena. I think we've scared the heck out of the people at T-Mobile a couple times now. So this was a lot of fun. MGM Grand, they see crazy shit here all the time, and they were tremendous. But I don't think they've ever seen anything like this here. This was the first Anarchy in the Arena ever at MGM Grand, and it was a great venue. It was a great night. Not the result I was hoping for, but definitely a great pay-per-view and a crazy, crazy way to end the night. Anarchy in the Arena, despite the Elite going up in the end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, Adrian, Hernandez with Unlikely, and I think the biggest surprise of tonight was the return of MJF, the homegrown talent on the 5-year anniversary of Double or Nothing. Could you speak on that process of whether it was a re-signing or contract extension, but having him back here in AEW?
Well, it's great to get MJF here in AEW for the long haul. It was something that, coming out of World's End, obviously his future was uncertain. He was beat up physically, I think, after some of the things that had happened with Adam Cole mentally, and it made a lot of sense for MJF to take the time, and I understood that. And he's a huge part of AEW. He's a former world champion. He's somebody who has been here with us from the very beginning, from the very first match in the history of AEW 5 years ago this weekend. And it's great to have MJF back here in AEW. It was something really special for the fans for the 5-year anniversary on a great night. A lot of great moments on the very first Double or Nothing, and MJF was a big part of it. He was in the first match, and then he got on Bret Hart and insulted Bret Hart, and it was a crazy night. And 5 years later, it's great to have MJF back in AEW. It's something special.
Thank you.
Hi, Xenia from XDT. Congratulations on the incredible show tonight. And tonight we had an unprecedented triple main event. So can we talk about what went into planning that and making sure that each of those matches feels equally important, feels like main event?
Absolutely. Last year we did a double main event. We had the four-way, four pillars match for the AEW World Championship, which was MJF versus Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin versus Jack Perry. Darby and Jack actually ended up in another part of the triple main event tonight in Anarchy in the Arena. But last year we had that World Championship match and we had Anarchy in the Arena. That was a great show and it felt like a great end. And the matches at the end were completely different and both felt really special. And when we signed Mercedes Moné, one of the most famous stars in all of wrestling, a top star and a top wrestler, and when she was getting into the ring with Willow Nightingale for the TBS Championship, I felt really strongly that would be great for a triple main event too. And I'm a big wrestling fan. I love AEW, but I'm also a big fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling and my friends. And it was just over 1 year ago. It was 1 year ago this week that Mercedes last stepped in the ring. And it was 1 year ago this week that she had that match with Willow for the New Japan Strong Championship. And it was obviously a very pivotal night in both of their careers. And we talked about it a lot in the build to this match. And it was something I felt really strongly about, that I think after 1 year out of the ring and the best year of Willow's career, winning that New Japan Strong Championship, winning the Owen Hart Foundation Cup, and then becoming the TBS champion, doing all these great things in that 1 year span while Mercedes was sitting on the sidelines, and knowing that Mercedes has been champing at the bit to get back in the ring and wanting to get Willow back in the ring. And now they're 1-1. I would love to see another match between them down the line. And I thought that with that rivalry and with that story and how important it is to AEW to deliver a great TBS championship match for our network partners, to have a great TBS champion as a face of the Superstation, and to have a great defense for a great champion like Willow and a great debut for a huge star like the CEO Mercedes Moné, I felt like that would be a really important aspect to the triple main event. And then last year, of course, going into the Anarchy in the Arena, we had MJF, the world champion, wrestling some of our top stars that in that four pillars, four-way world championship match. This year, it was different, but having the world championship match paired up at Anarchy in the Arena, that made a lot of sense to me. Instead of doing the double main event we did last year, I thought with Mercedes and Willow, we could have a triple main event. And also with the slot machine, it made for some cool graphics and great promotional materials for the pay-per-view. And it was different than last year's Double or Nothing double main event. This year it felt like a triple main event. Thank you.
Hey Tony, Rick with Las Vegas Radio. Congratulations on the amazing event today. Expanding on a little what you're saying, you have this amazing female roster that you guys have bolstering right now. Any thoughts on adding a trios or tag division?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We've talked about that. Have talked about a lot of potential additions in terms of championships. I think right now we have some really strong rivalries emerging amongst the World Championship, the TBS Championship, and also with ROH. You can't deny that ROH has great champions now. We just crowned a new Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion in Billie Starkz, and her mentor, Athena, might be the best wrestler in the world and is the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. And she is a little beat up herself right now, but she is going to be 100% very soon as we are bringing ROH and AEW to Texas, her home state, and actually Dallas, her home city. So there's a lot of great things happening in AEW and ROH in the men's and the women's divisions. I think it is definitely something that could be very good possibilities down the line, but we're also still really trying to build the depth back to the, I think, the strongest it's ever been. And there was a point, All Out 21, where I was coaching the Casino Battle Royale, and we had 21 women in that battle royale, as well as a great Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander championship match. And I think that was top to bottom, up till now, the deepest the division's ever been. And a lot of the great people from that match have been out or injured. for various reasons and not with us. I think we're going to keep getting more and more depth back, and the division's going to keep getting stronger and stronger. I think those are both very interesting championships. I also think something different we could do here that I've had interest in would be mixed tag team championships. And I think we have a lot of people that are aligned, and you said yes and nodded really quickly when I said that, because I think a lot of people would be interested in that too, and that's different than what other major promotions have, and I think that would set AEW apart. So I'm also interested in mixed tag team championships. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Hi, Tony. Marco Oakshire. How you doing?
Hey, Mark.
As you've now hit the 5-year anniversary, I'm curious to hear, as a father of a teenage daughter, what is AEW going to be doing in the future to appeal to kids and college-age kids to, bring more youth to the stands? It's a lot of adults out there, and I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are in terms of marketing to kids for AEW.
Well, I really am glad you asked that. I think first of all, we work with some great licensing partners. I'm really very, very blessed to be able to work with Jazzwares, and I think our toy business has done really, really well for us. And I think for me growing up, first of all, my first merchandise and what I played with a lot was toys. That's a part of it. Gaming, we've not just a console game with AEW Fight Forever, which was a really important step for us and has been a great experience for a young company. In addition to toys, gaming, and merchandising, I think there are tons of crossover opportunities. I think this company was born 5 years ago from digital engagement. There was no Dynamite, there was no TV. We sold this first pay-per-view and defied all expectations based on digital engagement, because AEW started the original Double or Nothing 5 years ago before the TV. And I think that's a huge part of how we stay connected with the fans, and I think it's important for us to remember that. Maybe when we go home from this, we can remember how we got started 5 years ago and how much ingenuity there was with no TV. And I think that is something we've put a lot of thought into, coming out of the Continental Classic, the promos in the back and all the digital exclusives, and a lot of the digital exclusives that Renee produces and hosts are really key, I think, to build digital engagement too, which is, in 2024 is going to be the way we're connecting with a lot of young fans. I also think having a lot of popular stars that would appeal to young fans makes a lot of sense. My college roommate and his wife, I was the best man in their wedding, and they were here with their 2 kids today, and they were wearing a Swerve t-shirt and a Bruv Will Ospreay t-shirt. And my friend's son, he was recovering from a broken nose and made it to the show, and you got to see another person with a broken nose, Darby, in the back, and that was it seemed like it was a really big deal for him. The look on his face seeing Swerve and Will Ospreay and Darby walking around. Those are cool people. Mercedes Moné, a really cool character that I think has appeal and charisma that would appeal to people of all ages, including young fans. Timeless Tony Storm is interesting because that is a gimmick straight out of Turner Classic Movies, and probably the fact that I'm doing stuff that is all about Eve and Sunset Boulevard, maybe movies from the 1950s are not but you know what? I think it's also some of the best stuff in wrestling, and what's old is new and what's new is old. So I do think Timeless Tony Storm could connect with young fans, even if she's calling upon a time before I was born and before most of us were born. And I think having the best wrestlers and having the best shows is something we can do to stay connected with the young fans. And I think it comes down to all of us. So it's on the office, the staff, and the wrestlers. And I think also, in addition to the content, the shows, trying to cross-promote, trying to work with the network. I'm really excited, for example, with Warner Brothers Discovery, they've given us opportunities for pop culture moments in the past. We've collaborated on Shark Week and a lot of major movies coming out of Warner Brothers. I believe we may have something coming up with House of the Dragon again. And that's really exciting for me because the first time around, House of the Dragon was a huge hit. And AEW wrestling fans, a lot of you, because I'm looking around and I know a lot of you are big wrestling fans. A lot of us remember the first AEW House of the Dragon show. It was a promotional event. It was a vehicle to cross-promote something else, but it was also a wrestling show done with a lot of love. And Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia, and Ricky Steamboat all being involved. I'll never forget it. And it was more than just trying to promote a project for our network. It was a labor of love, and we love wrestling and love trying to appeal to the fans, and hopefully doing things like that with House of the Dragon and popular franchises can help us too.
Tony, I just want to jump in here to just talk about being in Las Vegas and some of the pageantry that we got to see tonight. We got to see the showgirls coming out there. We had chants from my Las Vegas Golden Knights. Thank you very much. How did that all kind of come together?
Well, it's, a lot of great things here. Coach Irby, our COO, it's his first Double or Nothing. Coche's first Double or Nothing event here in Las Vegas, but he helped us a lot with the city and with the building, and it was a team effort to pull together a lot of elements of Las Vegas, but we were really blessed to have the Golden Knights. We have some very well-connected people here, like Renee, who is a former once a Las Vegas resident, always a Las Vegas resident.
Yeah.
And we had great connections in the market, and this is, now 5 years minus the years we were in Jacksonville, which were good too. And really, having the Las Vegas feel on the show, it just sets Double or Nothing apart, and I think it has a different feel than the other shows. We started with Revolution in Greensboro, and that was a night I'll never forget. Dynasty in St. Louis, the crowning moment of Swerve, so many great things on Dynasty, and of course Ospreay versus Danielson, all these things I'm always going to remember. And Double or Nothing, to me, it begins and ends with that first Double or Nothing, seeing Jon Moxley standing on the poker chips to close the night. That moment we knew AEW had arrived, and then for all of us to come back here and see it all again. It was hard to watch somebody getting the Tony Khan driver on those poker chips, especially now. I got some PTSD. But really, 5 years, so special, and great to bring Double or Nothing back to Las Vegas.
More questions from you guys?
Excuse me. Bathroom.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, my friend. Okay, well, hopefully, Rocky, will you watch my back while he's gone? Thanks.
I
Rocky.
got you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Renee. I'm sorry. Well, I didn't want to put you in the line of fire, pal.
I got you.
Okay, hopefully they'll all keep it very
I'll
professional.
DDT someone.
And the anarchy arena, things went crazy.
Tony, I was wondering so for the next 5 years, do you have any big business goals as far as maybe trying to perhaps get talent on ESPN, more, stuff like that, or the Milo and Matt show is it's the number one in the last month. It's the most viewed show on the TBS YouTube channel. Are you trying to? Are you looking to sell more shows like that to TBS or maybe other streaming services, or just curious, what's the next step in the next 5 years?
It's a really big year. I think a lot of some of these details, but to peel back the curtain, this is our media rights renewal year, and like a lot of athletes or teams in a big year with a big opportunity, we're all really swinging for the fences here. So it's going to be really important for us. We've been now going on 5 years at Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's been the most amazing relationship. When we started this, something that was really important to me was bringing wrestling back to TNT. Don't leave me hanging out to dry. Something would have happened though. I think Rocky would have got my back, and Renee had already offered to make sure I was okay. I think it's a hugely important year for AEW, everybody here. We want to create more content, and this past year, Meal in a Match is a great example. Also, Collision. Not, less than a year old. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of Collision, and that was a big deal because we went from doing 2 nights a week to 3 nights a week, also went from doing 3 hours a week to 5 hours a week. It's a massive change. It's a huge step for the roster, and now we put on a lot more great wrestling week in, week out. I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. Recently, we've had some really great ratings momentum for Collision also, which has been awesome. So I really love the expansion. Like I said, Meal in a Match, Collision, there's been a lot of changes. Also the pay-per-view calendar expanding. This is the first ever year where there was an AEW Dynasty, and it was a home run. It's one of the best shows we've done. And of course, from our first year, Revolution, Double or Nothing, these are tentpole huge events in the history of AEW, and I really believe we're 3 for 3 on great pay-per-views this year, and that's something that we hang our hats on around here. That is our reputation, for better or for worse, is the company that always puts on great pay-per-views, and hey, that's a pretty good thing to have, right? I'll take it. And I definitely thought tonight was a great pay-per-view in the tradition of Double or Nothing, but I want to continue to expand, do new things, go new places. But one thing is, I'm very happy on TBS and TNT, so we'll find out where all the shows are going to live next year, but TNT and TBS have been a great home for AEW, and they're a great home for pro wrestling, and AEW is a great home for pro wrestling, so I think that's why it's a great fit.
We'll go 2 more right here. Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. 2 quick questions. First, is there an injury update on Adam Copeland? It looked like he hurt his leg on that splash, if there's an update on him. And then the second question I have, you did an interview with Justin Barrasso today talking about the rights deal. Obviously, you just were mentioning about WBD. You did mention that the exclusivity window is coming up pretty soon. Do you want to kind of see where the landscape is, or would you want or anticipate that you can get the deal done before that window does close?
Well, I'm not sure. I know we're having great talks, and I'm very blessed to be engaged with the awesome leadership of Warner Brothers Discovery. Mr. Zasloff has been amazing for AEW. Again, like I was just saying, to be able to create new opportunities after several years of being here and a couple of different great regimes, including the awesome regime that helped us launch this. It's been so refreshing to have Mr. Zasloff come in with a fresh perspective and want more AEW and give us the opportunity to do a meal and a match, give us every Saturday night on TNT for Collision. And I would absolutely love to stay here as long as they would have us, and we're having great talks with them, and there is an exclusive period and we're in it, and I'm very blessed to be having great talks with them in this period. We'll see what happens, but we've been treated fantastic by TBS and TNT, and I'm really very happy working for Mr. David Zasloff, and I hope we can keep doing it for a long time.
And the Adam Copeland question.
Yes, and Adam, speaking of the face of TNT, Mr. Copeland, we are checking him out. That was an amazing barbed wire cage match. He has been so awesome for us since he came in, and I am knocking on all the wood and crossing all of my fingers and toes that he is okay. Adam Copeland arriving in AEW, it came at the perfect time for us. What a run he's having. I was hoping he would be sitting here with Tanahashi-san and myself right now. He's really beat up, and I'll cross my fingers and hope he's okay. That would be the best thing for AEW. It was certainly a very hard-hitting pay-per-view, and in particular, that was a really hard-hitting barbed wire steel cage match, and we have a great TNT champion, and we're very blessed to have the Rated R superstar in AEW. Thank you, Corey.
Very welcome.
Taking advantage that Tanahashi-san is here in Las Vegas, Forbidden Door has been a huge success with attendance and also with pay-per-view sales. Is there interest on the New Japan side on potentially taking this to Japan instead of just some wrestlers going over there, taking the whole company and having an event that is partnered with both of you guys out there?
I couldn't understand the 80%. So,
It's an interesting idea. It was an interesting idea.
young wrestlers?
Yeah, I guess the idea of maybe doing AEW versus New Japan in Japan.
In Japan.
Instead of, we always do in North America, we've done obviously Chicago, Toronto, New York, doing something different. I believe, if it's okay if I may say, my friend, if we did something, it would not, I think that is a great idea, it's something that would be a great possibility. It would not necessarily be Forbidden Door though. There's other Forbidden Door, I think we built something really special. I think there's a lot of exciting possibilities, and that would be great for AEW and New Japan, and that could be an exciting next step in addition to what we do here at Forbidden Door, typically in North America, but I mean, we could do Forbidden Door internationally too, so you never know. But I think we've got something really special with Forbidden Door. We could do some more projects potentially too. That's a great idea what you just said. It's been great having great matches. You know, I thought this was one of my all-time favorite Wrestle Kingdom shows. When I saw Tanahashi-san, truly, with the match he had with Zack Sabre, I thought was excellent. The three-way with Mox and Ospreay and Finlay, fantastic. Bryan Danielson, Okada, fantastic. Naito, just top to bottom, just such a great show. And there's so many great wrestlers in New Japan and in AEW. I think if AEW were to send a big crew to Japan, more wrestlers to do, I think that would be really exciting, and I would love that. That could be Forbidden Door, but could also be in addition to Forbidden Door.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us here tonight as we conclude this press conference. What a great show. Tony, congratulations on 5 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. It feels like you've been with us from the beginning, and you're a huge part of the 5 years, Renee, and we're all really blessed to have you. Hey, let's hear it for the great host, Renee. You didn't have to do that. It's a hard audience, Renee, so it shows they really mean it. So, these are hardened people. I really appreciate you being here. Bless you, Renee. Bless you, Tanahashi-san. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching my back. Thanks for watching AEW's back. We're really lucky to have you. Thank you, my
Everybody
friend.
get home safe. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. See y'all.